week for oats. Oh. Here. Okay, wait. Don't do it yet.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, push the seat out on the through that crack, okay? Here we go. Slow. How you doing?
And the seed.
You spreading the seed? You're doing a good job, buddy. There you go. So Alice and I just came out here to spread the very last of the seed that was remaining in the bottom of that tote. There wasn't much, just maybe 2 or 3 5-gallon buckets worth. So we just came out here to this pasture piece that's right in front of our house. So this is where we had mine and Lindsay's cows last winter. So not this calving season, but the one before. And if you look around, you can kind of see a couple of these bare spots. So this is where we had a couple of those calf shelters. It was right here. And up here, where we were driving along spreading that seed, is where we had the straw beds. So Ellis and I just drove along, and as you saw, he just kicked it out between the cracks between the tailgate and the bed of the Ranger. We just sprinkled it right along on the ground. And then my dad's over there. I don't know how well you can see him, but he's just across the slough, harrowing a little tiny sliver of slough pasture there. Then he's going to come back in here and go over this once more, just to try to spread out some more of this straw bed and this these old places where the feeders or the calf shelters were. So when he comes back through here with that harrow, that's going to spread this out even more and hopefully cover it up a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see if some of this grows just broadcasting it like this and then running the harrows over it. Oh, can you pick it back up? Good job, buddy. Okay, roll it over here to the drill. Oh, hey. I gotta be able to reach it.
I can roll it?
Yeah, we're gonna put it right here. So watch your head. Okay, that's it.
Why? Why is I do it right there?
So we just throw these tires up on top of these grain boxes because sometimes most of our wind comes from the west. So sometimes the wind will actually catch these lids and throw them open. So we just like to throw something weighted on them to keep them from getting blown open during windy storms. Afternoon, everyone. So any of you that have been watching the channel for a couple of years probably guessing where I'm at. So I ended up getting the bid on our Cattle Association's range fence. So I've been up here all morning fixing fence, and this is my first day up here and just starting to pick away at it. So just to give you an idea on how much fence there is up here, there's about 14 miles of fence on our cattle association's range. And you know, it's all fairly rugged fence up and down through thick brush. Nothing's really in a very nice location. But this section I'm working on right now isn't too bad because it's pretty close to the highway here. So you can see the highway just runs right along the bottom of this hill here. The range fence just runs east and west. So I'm sure plenty of you are familiar on how to fix fence. And I guess if there's some of you that aren't familiar with it, I'll explain a little bit of what I'm doing up here as I walk along. I did about a half a mile this morning. Now I'm just continuing on. So today is, I think today's the 7th of May, or it might even be the 8th. Yeah, so today is May 7th, and our cows will come up here on the range about June 6th is usually when we can come up here. Just really depends on weather and how things are looking. But so far this spring, we've had quite a bit of moisture, and I know over the next 3 or 4 days, we've got some really nice temperatures coming. So I bet this stuff's gonna start growing pretty fast. And you can see behind me how green it is, and see some of the wildflowers and stuff starting to bloom a little bit. Work up here to get done in the next 4 weeks, on top of everything else that we got going on. So it's gonna be pretty busy, pretty fast paced, I think, trying to get this all put up and ready for the cows. So I'm just having a late lunch, warming up a rump roast. I got a little piece of bread, some cheese, do like a French dip type thing. Got some strawberries, and yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these little heated lunch boxes, but I love mine. I use it all the time, especially when I'm trucking. It's nice to have it in the semi and just plug it in, and then in 20 minutes or so I've got a hot lunch. And because you get pretty tired eating cold lunches all the time. And this one here just plugs it into the cigarette lighter of the Ranger. I've never used it on the Ranger before, so I'm not exactly sure how well it'll work, but I don't know why it shouldn't work. I had to have the key on, so that's good to know. Just need to make sure I have the lights off and shut the key off before I start working again, or else I'll have a dead battery when I get back here, and it'll make for a bad day. But for any of you that might be interested in one of these heated lunch boxes, I'll put a link for this one in the description. Because like I said, I've sure loved mine, and it's sure handy to have, especially when you're outside working all the time or away from the kitchen. It's nice to have a hot lunch to look forward to. And in case anybody's wondering, this is our own beef, so that makes it taste even better. So that just needs a few more minutes and I'll be ready to eat. So while I'm waiting for a minute for that to warm up the rest of the way, I'll start walking this fence line and explain to you guys what I'm doing if you're not familiar with fencing or fixing fence. So when I'm fixing fence in the spring, I kind of like to do it in 2 passes. Just so, because the first pass, what I'll do is I'll just go along the fence, and you're looking at every post, looking to make sure it's got all the staples in it. So this fence I'm working on here against the highway is a 4-wire fence, so that just means there's 4 wires here. So then that means there should be 4 staples in each post for each wire. So I literally just walk the fence and put in the staples as I go. And the reason I do it in 2 passes is because we're going to find lots of broken wires on this fence line, so they'll need to be spliced back together, and that takes kind of a different set of tools. You need your fence stretchers, extra wire. So I don't like packing all that at once, because almost, I don't know, every 20-30 feet you got to put in a couple staples. So every time you got to put in staples, you got to put all that stuff down, grab your staple, grab your hammer, pound in your staple, and grab all that stuff again, pick it up and take it with you. So what I do is I just walk the fence line, for the first time with my hammer and a bag full of staples here. Then I bring my surveyor tape with me, so every time I find a broken wire or a fence post that needs to be replaced, so if there's some broken fence posts or a stretch of fence that needs some more posts to help hold up that wire, I'll tie a ribbon on there, so it's easy for me to look up the fence line and see, oh, I've got a broken wire up there, or oh, I need to put in a new post up there or whatever. And that way, pretty much this first go around, I'm just surveying the fence, putting the staples back up, and getting an idea of what I need to bring with me as I kind of hop along. So the thing that's probably the hardest on our fences up here is just the amount of snow that we get. So you can imagine there being 3 or 4 feet of snow up here. I try to explain this every year when I do a video about fencing. So just imagine your snow being, yay high up to that 3rd wire or whatever. And what happens, especially in the spring when things start to melt, is that snow will start to melt and settle. Then when it cools off in the night, it'll develop a crust layer on top, like a hard packed layer that you can pretty much just walk on top of. Then the next day, that snow will start to sink and settle and melt again. And it grabs your wires as it settles, and it'll start stretching your wires and pulling posts over. And then eventually it'll break wires. So you can see here, see the bottom wire here is broken. You can see it, so it just stretched that wire enough that it caused it to snap and break. And for the most part, it's usually the bottom 2 wires that are the worst, because that's where the majority of the snow is, and where the majority of the weight will settle and stretch. Usually the top wire is fine. I don't usually have to splice the top wire. And on occasion, you gotta splice the 3rd wire. But these bottom 2 wires, they get broken in a lot of places, and it just takes a lot of splicing, and it's kind of time consuming splicing all this broken wire, but that's part of it. So here, with there being a broken wire here, like I said, I'll just put that ribbon up here. And then when I'm coming back with my fence stretchers and splice wire, it's very easy for me to spot where I need to go and what I need to do. Because it's pretty frustrating when you go to a spot that has a broken wire, you start stretching wire, and all of a sudden it pulls the wire down from 100 feet up ahead, because you didn't realize it was broke up there also. So you start stretching that wire, then oh, there's another break up there. So it's nice to just have everything marked out. Like, oh, I can look up here and I can see there's another break up there. So I probably don't need to wrench on this spot too much and tighten it, because I'm gonna have to go up there and fix that splice too. So this is the way I like to do it. Seems like it saves you a little bit of time and a little bit of headache, I guess. So you can see here, so I just tied that ribbon. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's not more than 50 feet. So we're not more than 50 feet from that ribbon I just tied. And you come up here, and here's 2 more broken wires. These bottom 2. So here's a broken one. This bottom one's broken somewhere with how loose it is. So let's add another ribbon here. And like I said, then it's just easy for me as I'm coming back with them the fence stretchers and splice wire. I can just see what I'm looking at before I even get there. So yeah, you see here's the broken bottom wire here. So we've gotten we're gonna have 3 ribbons here within 60 feet. So that's what makes this job so time consuming, just splicing back all the broken wire. I mean, if all you had to do is walk the fence line and put up staples, it wouldn't take very long, but the amount of times it takes you to splice all this broken wire is what really sucks your time. I think I mentioned also, when I'm walking this fence line, I'm marking spots that I need to pack posts back up to, because a lot of these places you can't really get to with a Ranger or side-by-side. I mean, this spot here, this section of the fence line, you can get to with the Ranger just fine. So it's not too hard to get the supplies and materials up here. But a lot of this is, you're pretty much doing it on foot, and you're having to pack stuff in either on horses or on your back, because you can't get the Ranger there. So makes for some good exercise, I guess. I brought the drone with me today, so hopefully I can give you guys a little bit better idea, a bird's eye view on what we're working with here. So heading this way, this is the way I was working on. This is the fence I was working on this morning, coming from the east to the west. And now I've got that section done. Now I'm going from this gate here to the west, and we'll just keep plugging away this way. Well, it's 6:30 in the afternoon. I just finished this stretch of fence here. This is the same stretch that I showed you on with the drone. It wasn't in horrible shape. It still took quite a bit of splicing, fixing wires and whatnot, and took quite a few staples. But I've seen it worse. I've seen it worse over the last, I think it was the 3rd year I've been up here doing this, and this isn't the worst year. I think that first year we were up here as an association, I think that was the first year, because that was right after that horrible winter we had. We got all the snow. I want to say it was winter of 2022, I think. Yeah, because last year would have been 2023. This previous winter would have been 2024. So yeah, that was 2 winters ago. Or 3 winters ago, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But it's been such a beautiful day today. I swear this grass has been growing. You can almost tell that it's growing throughout the day. Or maybe it's just the way the light's hitting it. But we've had a lot of moisture last 2 or 3 days, and I bet it's close to 70 something degrees today. So it seems like things are really starting to pop a bit. So I'm gonna head home and get some dinner. My dad did the feeding for us tonight, so I don't have to worry about feeding. Nothing new with the cows or calves. But I imagine if I don't have to work for Old Dominion tomorrow, I'll be back up here tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'm gonna start on the letdown fence. So I know some of you are familiar with it, but if not, I'll show you guys tomorrow what the letdown fence is and kind of the idea behind it. So I'm ending this one here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.